The roll.
Alder Wood.
Here.
Mayor Miller.
Here.
Alder Bussey must be on his way.
All right. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes of the January 3rd meeting?
So moved.
I will second that. Any corrections?
Nope.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. We do have an appearance this evening from Fire Chief Scott Sullivan, who is here to speak further on the paid on-premise program funding explanation and status. Welcome, Chief.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. Alderwood and I went over some numbers, some ways of coming up with funding, or how I feel the paid on premise program is going to work. If you look at the Monona Fire Department paid on premise program sheet that I had sent out, included in the packet, one of the things that we faced last year was we were 102 fire calls over the year before. After talking with my personnel, 508 calls is a record for the fire department. So that added to the number, the increased calls based on the number of personnel, basically was about $13,000 over cost for that. When we look at the paid on premise program, what we're hoping to accomplish with this is have a staffed engine that can respond directly from the station to all calls. But with those calls, if you look at the alarm activations, when we talk about single engine responses, basically those are the ones where we can go to with a single engine and the ambulance, but mainly the single engine. We don't have to page out the second engine, the ladder, the squad. If we look at those, the alarm activations, the alarm malfunctions, the false alarms, the EMS calls, there's a total of roughly 340. I'm hoping by utilizing the paid on premise that we can reduce the number of page outs to the department as a whole, where we can just utilize that engine that's staffed in the station to respond to those calls. So currently, the way that we cover the single engine responses is the same way that we cover all responses. It goes pages out for the whole department. And that basically, just these calls that could be handled by a single engine response, 340 basically by 9 firefighters by $15 is $45,000. If we were to be able to cover, and once again, this is a pilot program, so the numbers, these are kind of the numbers that I'm hoping to see. As a pilot program, I can't guarantee one way or the other, and I'll go over kind of numbers later on, even though it's only 15, 16 days into the new year. I can kind of give you some thoughts on that, but if we're able to cover half of those single engine responses with the paid on premise personnel, that's $5,100. The other half of them we would page out to the whole department, and that's $22,950 for a total of $28,000. The current way that we do it is $45,000. So we're hoping to reduce it by basically $17,000, almost $18,000 to help cover the program.
Chief, one quick. $15 for paid on premise. I thought we were paying $75 or something.
No,
to stay, or
so the paid on premise,
Right.
you're correct, and they get a stipend
Yep.
of $52 if they're a firefighter, $90 if they're if they're an officer or a engine driver, someone who's certified to drive the engine. And that's for a 24-hour shift.
Mm-hmm.
They also will receive
Oh,
the
okay.
paid on call. So anytime we have a call, they'll still get the $15
Oh, okay.
because
All right.
we could have personnel that would commit to being at the station for 24 hours, get $90. Well, if we ended up with 4 calls,
Get another 60.
you're looking at $60 that the personnel that aren't there are getting, and they're basically only getting $30 to stay 24 hours more. This gives them
Okay.
a little bit more benefit to being there. So hoping to save, like I said, $17,000, almost $18,000. When we look at our current EMS revenues, which Mark and I talked a little bit about this. We budgeted for 2016 at $356,000. The actual revenues that we got in from EMS medical billing, according to their sheet, was $398,000. Now that doesn't take into consideration, adjusted. We obviously with the more EMS calls, the more supplies we utilize, the more medications we utilize. We basically pay EMS medical billing 7.75%, for everything that we take in. So it doesn't consider that portion of it, of those revenues. But it was up by nearly 42,000. Pre-adjusted. So with that helps. This next year, we budgeted at 365,000. We're hoping that there again will come in higher than regular. But once again, when we go back up to the top of the sheet and look at our EMS numbers, we were 216 EMS calls ahead of the year before also. So this last year was a record year in both fire and EMS call volume. So that's how we're hoping to, bring down the number for the paid on call by utilizing the paid on premise personnel. So far, year to date, we are at 30 fire calls for the year. If this trend pushes out to the full year, we're looking at like 720 calls for the year. So the year has not slowed down at all compared to last year. We're continuing to see that increase.
Didn't seem like there were an inordinate amount of calls, though, with the bad roads and weather.
We haven't had, knock on wood,
Yeah.
haven't had a ton of,
Falls and
we've had some falls, but they're usually all inside, not outside. We haven't had a ton of car accidents. So
yeah, it's been nice.
So we have looked, when we look at call volumes number of personnel responding on average went from 9 last year to currently 8 this year. Once again, we're only halfway into the first month. But if that correlates out, we're looking at a $10,000 difference deduction in that amount. In the
So
overall
after
amount.
17 days, how many days have we had somebody lodging with us?
After 17 days, let me pull that one up.
Well, I don't mean to mess up your order. I didn't-
No,
okay.
that was good. I was moving to that next. So far, I pulled it up for the month of January, so it's the whole month as of right now of personnel that are scheduled. We've got basically 8 24-hour shifts filled. So not quite a third of the month, but we were looking at it. We were hoping for 2 personnel each day. Right now, that's only 1 personnel. So out of the 60 shifts, we've only got 8 filled.
So is it effective with just one person? And do you accomplish the driving engines and?
It's better than none.
Okay,
But
it's an improvement.
It's an improvement, and like I said, it's fresh into the year. People are still getting back from the holidays, getting into their jobs. So we're hoping that we'll have some resurgence or some more personnel sign up for these shifts. I think we're going to see an increase in the sign up shifts, as soon as we get the new engine.
Okay.
I think that will, personnel will want to come in and ride on the new engine and be associated with the new engine, so. Any questions at all?
Nope.
Okay, and then I'll come in once a quarter
Yeah.
to kind of at the end of each quarter to give you an idea of where we're at, how it's been progressing, how many personnel we've had pulling shifts, and see where we're at both with the paid on call and the paid on premise programs.
New engines this fall, or when is?
No,
the-
new engine. Actually, new engine originally was supposed to be here beginning of the week, but Pierce pushed it back another month. So we're looking at February 15th, somewhere around the 15th of February. The truck committee is going up tomorrow morning to do a inspection of the process so far. They'll do 2 inspections. One, they call it post-paint, and one pre-pickup.
Will it come here outfitted, or do you have to, does
We'll have to outfit it still.
Mr. Eckloff do that?
Yep, so we'll work on all of that. Putting all the hose on, putting all the equipment. It comes bare bone. So
Excellent, okay. Any questions, nothing else? All right, thank you very much.
thank you.
Drive safe. Item number 5, under unfinished business, A, is convening in closed session under Wisconsin statute section 19.85, is that a one? Yep. Paren E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. This is regarding the International Association of Firefighters Local 311 contract negotiations. Is there a motion to go into convene in closed session?
So moved.
I will second that. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Alder Wood,
Aye.
All right. In open session under Wisconsin statute section 19.85, paren 2. Now moving on to new business. Item 6A is consideration of resolution 17-1-2139, approving a 3-month extension to the agreement with Vanderwall and Associates Incorporated for services related to the mixed-use waterfront redevelopment project.
So this is essentially an extension of the contract that we had with Vanderwall to work with us on the riverfront project. The contract expired at the end of the year, and by extending it out another 3 months, that essentially we hope will take us to the end of this phase of the project if all goes well, and it will expend the last of the money that was authorized for this contract in the amount of, I believe it was $22,000.
And they agreed to maintain the same billing rates and
Same terms and
no
conditions.
terms.
Yes.
And just for the public, it's not that the project's ending, it's, as Administrator Little described, it's going into the next phase. The expectation will be is after next week, if things go well, the CDA will select a preferred contractor and commence with negotiations, doing a development agreement, which will take a few weeks probably or so. But we can then redefine the scope of work with Vanderwall, with the new developer, and what will occur. But there could be shovels in the ground, should be shovels in the ground this year. Questions, discussion? All right.
I'll move approval.
New business. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Thank you. Wrong meeting. See, I'm drifting. This motion for approval. I will second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none. What is it? 22 grand.
22,000.
All
yes.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6B is consideration of the claim of Yanshilu Moi. Administrator Little.
This claim, it's only for $205, but our attorney says we need to bring these all back to finance, and we're recommending denial. What happened in this situation as this person's car was actually stolen and it was left disabled in traffic, so our police towed it. And they did not see when they ran the plates that it was stolen, and they couldn't find the driver at that time. So it generated a $1,200 towing bill, and our police talked to the towing company about reducing it, which they did, and they also recommended to this person that they should seek court restitution from the suspect, and now that person's in custody. So we thought that that was the appropriate method for this person to recover his $205 in towing fees.
Discussion? Any questions? I would entertain a motion.
I'll move to deny the claim.
I will second that. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 6C is discussion of staff years of service recognition. Administrator Little?
We just wanted to get some general direction going into this. There was a change apparently just before I got here that employees were not eligible for the Distinguished Service Award. It's now awarded to volunteers. So there was discussion about changing the policy to recognizing years of service beginning at 10 years with 5 years increments. And doing some research, Joan and I did some research, and that's kind of the method that a lot of communities do that. Usually what they do is they either offer a gift certificate, sometimes for a local business, or it's a cash award, or in some cases a cash award, or apply money like to a retirement party if somebody's retiring. Other options are gifts, which again, will have a monetary value. For longer terms, I've seen a few places that offer extra days of vacation, and then some other communities do things like newspaper articles, recognition at council meetings, newsletters, dinners, and things like that. But I guess before we went too deep into drafting a policy, the concern that we had is that because so many of the options that we saw related to providing some sort of a cash gift or some sort of an equivalent, it seems like it would resemble the city's past longevity awards, and I don't have too much history on that, but I understand we had that at one time, and must have gotten rid of that policy at one point in time. I really don't know the history or the reasons behind it, but
The mayor cut it out of the budget years ago.
so I guess, we're sort of looking for some direction. Also, a couple of other issues. There is no budget for this item in 2017, and just trying to play catch up if you wanted to go that route. There's 30 employees that we currently have that have not yet been recognized if we indeed, do some sort of a policy change.
My suggestion would be to do a certificate award of some sort, because we already, I don't know about these other communities, if they have bonuses, as we do. So we're already providing a financial bonus, and if that continues, we'll see. But I would completely support, but I think to do it right, I wouldn't, just because we don't have the budget, I wouldn't want to cheapen it for this year. So I'd rather see it start next year when it be appropriately budgeted, unless our financial director knows of some windfall.
No, not yet.
Not yet. I mean,
It's a lot of employees.
I do know one area where I do think we will, on our bank fees, we'll have
Well, that would be,
some relief.
Should be.
So, I don't know, maybe we could, I don't know, Alderwood, you thought? Because we are receiving, we didn't strike the deal until after the budget was finalized, but with Monona State Bank is providing us with
higher interest rate.
our daily account,
Yeah.
giving us an interest rate that we estimate could be $30,000.
One idea that I did see, and this is the only other idea I saw, is some places actually pay such awards from their workers' comp dividend. That's the only other alternative funding source I've seen in the research that I
That's
did.
legal?
We budget for the workers' comp dividend, so.
I mean, it goes into the
Help me
general
understand,
revenue.
What is a workers' comp dividend?
Basically, with, especially with ours, with CIVMIC, we pay so much per year, and then they give us a dividends based on our workers' comp, claims and stuff like that. And we have very few claims. So we do get a
What
large,
happens to that overage every year? Do
we put it back in the budget. We budget the revenue.
Kind of
It's
running
just a general fund
Yeah.
going into the pot revenue,
Yeah.
yeah.
We do budget it in the budget. But we do keep very good, we do get a big sum back, it's like 30,000 or something like that we get back. 30 to
All right,
30.
I guess what I would ask, I'd like Alder Wood's input too, but Administrator Little to make a recommendation in talking with the city clerk who manages this project along with you. Give some thought and make a specific recommendation that you think, knowing that we don't have it budgeted this year, but there may be alternative to do something. But it would be my strong is to not have a cash remuneration, but rather gift certificate or something of that
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah, I think if we had these up.
Yeah, I would agree, because then it just becomes part of the compensation package, and I think that's not really the idea of this. My only other thought is on the gift ideas or recognition ideas would be to, ask the 30 employees what they think, or what would their preference be among these various choices. The one doing a dinner, picnic, or lunch reception, I mean, you could do 30 people at once there, so,
Yeah, I mean,
otherwise it gets to be a bit cumbersome, but, so, that's,
it seemed like a lot of the research I did, it's like, they had one system and then they changed it and then they change it back.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, it's hard.
it's
hard.
really hard to
'Cause
know the right way to do
Our
it.
intent is we want to thank those employees for longevity of service, but it's harder than it seems.
It really
We
is,
did
yeah.
And
just-
how it's perceived, the one thing I don't want to, so that's why I kind of would like, you guys are closer to the pulse. I don't want people to be mumbling under their breath, The intent is to honor them for the time, so even if it's a certificate but I'm open to something that there's a financial cost to.
We did just negotiate out one of the prior contracts with the police department, longevity. We took it out of their contract because nobody else had it. So, that was the reason. So I would not agree with the cash.
I would kind of embrace the KISS principle, keep it simple,
Yeah.
because if you try to do something thinking that not everyone sees things in the same light, so. If you could bring that to the next meeting, because if we do include this with the awards, we're looking at an earlier awards date, because I'm out of Dodge as soon as I'm done being mayor. And this is my last one, so we're looking at April something.
You gave us the dates,
Yeah.
so we're
So-
looking at those.
So hopefully at the next meeting, we will know that, but it'll be sometime in April. So if you could try at the next meeting, or at least no later than the meeting after that April, I'd appreciate it.
May I be clear?
Yep.
Mayor Miller, a gift certificate would be acceptable to you, are you saying, or you're talking about an award certificate?
Yeah, it was a
Either,
little,
I don't know. You make the recommendation. Those are two possibilities.
Okay.
An award certificate or a gift certificate, whatever resonates best. And how we pay for it. I look to Mark. All right. Acceptance of the general fund accounts payable checks dated December 30th, 2016 through January 12th, 2017. Mark?
Yeah, don't have a lot. We had a lot of stuff last meeting, but this time not as much. But just a couple things I'm going to hit on. Page 3, Capital Underground. This is they work with our water main repairs and some other stuff. It's kind of like the yearly cost for the water main repairs for the year. That is budgeted.
As in an annual fee?
Yeah, usually they wait till the end of the year and they budget, they pay us.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Not need cash.
Page 4, Kilgus, just want to hit on this again. I know we've been bringing this up a lot. As you'll see, there's 2 of them in there called boiler repairs and pump repairs. Both of those are the library.
Do we have any, I know we're doing parking lots and we're doing hiring and stuff, but have you had any discussion, or is anyone at City Hall looking at
I
how
think
we
Dan
bring
is.
this all, updating this, or?
I think Dan was looking into, Brad.
This
Brad?
gentleman here.
Okay, so you're kind of, all right, look forward to seeing something. Good.
Yep, we're working on it.
Page 6, just to hit on just how much tires cost and tires repairs, pumps tires. Underneath that, we had to repair a windshield for the fire department. Page 7, again, this is the bill Cole.
Excuse me, but just made me think of, with repairs, my understanding, we had a car accident with a squad
Yep.
where it was hit by a drunk driver.
Yes.
Do we pursue that driver's insurance?
Yes.
If they have insurance?
Yep.
And that, you're all on top of that too?
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah,
hear we're repairing it, not replacing it.
yeah, they're gonna cut us a check for about 13,000 something, so.
So he did have insurance?
I'm not sure,
I
That
believe
would
they're
be
still
a
in that
factor.
phase right now. I think our insurance company's gonna go after
Oh,
their
okay.
insurance
Yeah.
company.
yeah, they'd pay it either way,
All
but,
right.
it was not totaled.
Page 7, Bill Cole, just hitting on his invoices for November. Page 10, municipal full compass system, municipal audio. This is part of Will's budget that was approved. Down a little bit farther, so another capital item, Middleton Power Center, part of the capital for snow removal equipment. What else we got here?
She's
Page-
gone. Are we happy with the rhyme copier?
Oh, I was gonna hit that. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm,
Is it?
it's really nice.
mm-hmm.
Good.
Page 14, Dane County Treasurer. As you can see, the mural project. Page 16, Monona Grove School District. This is, so we collect for all the different districts. And this is our payment, to Monona Grove. We collected, just and on that, we collected, of the total taxes we collect for all the districts, we collected 44% in December. And last year we collected 42%. So we actually collected a higher percentage this year than last year. And then Purple Cow on page 17 is the annual fee that we pay. That's all I have.
When it says annual fee, plus, is that in addition to our dumping fee?
Yep, so there's the
There's a
charge,
baseline?
like a base, percentage.
Okay. Questions?
Nope.
Entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move approval of the general fund accounts payable checks.
I will second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Checks are approved. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
I will second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.